Welcome along to our first session here on Full-Time. I want to send a shout out going out to our sponsors, Racecrack Motors. Of course, they're down there on Grey Street. We welcome into the show, of course, our man from up there in Pairo, Ngā Iwi FM. We've got Rino Wilkinson. Morena, bro.
Yeah, morena, bro, and always a pleasure to be back on Full-Time for another Saturday morning.
Indeed. And also joining us from over there in Australia, across the ditch, we have our man JT, Jason Tawhiwhirangi. Morena, bro.
Hi, morena, Keith, morena, Reno. Lovely day here on the Sunshine Coast. It's perfect blue skies, even though it's only, call it the 6 in the morning, but yeah, looking forward to a big cracker day.
Yes, indeed. Now, it's a big day over there, I guess, especially if you're from Gisborne, or even if you're just from New Zealand and Brisbane. They have the very, very much well-documented, I suppose you could call it, the Gizzy Day over there, JT.
Yeah, very popular part of the calendar if you're from home. If you live in southeast Queensland, the Sunshine Coast, Toowoomba, Ipswich, Brisbane, or even down the Gold Coast, it's being held at the Logan Saints Rugby Union Club in Slacks Creek, so very central to all those areas. Big day, a massive day, and a great day to get out and have a look around and see who else has come over and made the journey to Australia, either to live or just to have a look around and have a holiday. So yeah, mate, after the show I'll get ready and head down there and make a nuisance of myself, I think. Why not?
Well, I know for a fact that when people do show up down there, you know, they kind of reunite with sometimes people they haven't seen for many years, eh, JT?
Yeah, not only that, Keith, it's also an interesting phenomenon that when you live over here, even though you live maybe an hour or so away, sometimes you're wrapped up in your life, it becomes too busy, you don't get a chance to catch up with people normally. So it's good to take the time out to go and meet up at these places and, you know, say good day and kia ora and whatnot else, and, you know, reminisce about those days doing donuts in the Sandown car park and all that sort of stuff. And just to catch up and for me, it's a bit of a revitalisation to get some of that coasty corridor into your, you know, into yourself and have a bit of a laugh and just, in general, like I said, just catch up. It's a great day. So looking forward to it, and there's certainly turn on the weather. It's going to be a scorcher here today, probably like 20s, early 30s.
And they usually have, like, what do you call it? A lot of, I guess, local, or I don't know if they could call it, well, a lot of entertainment nonetheless, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the entertainment is local-based, and what I mean by that is a lot of it is from home. The Hunt Brothers, always one of the big attractions here, Jade and Kane and the boys. There's a couple haka here called Turanga Ake, Forever Gisborne. They always well patronised at the event. And as usual, Jeff Moses will entertain the crowd dressed up as a clown. In other words, wearing what he normally wears. Good man, he's a good man, Jeff Moses. Love you, brother.
So you're probably also are quite familiar with Gizzy Day there too, Reno?
Yeah, heard a lot about it, obviously. I know my sister sometimes used to pop down and, like JT alluded, it's just kind of catching up with some familiar faces, and it's quite an eye-opener actually, because I remember you telling me that, you know, someone locally from here was just her neighbour, or actually at the back street, you know, and that's how close they can be without realising they're living in the same neighbourhood as such. And this is where it comes out at some of these events. And you know, when I was over there last year and she bumped into one of the whānau and they asked, where do you live? And she says, da-da-da. And I says, oh, that's just the street over behind us. So this is what it does. It brings the whānau connection together. And, you know, you kind of, like JT said, you kind of reminisce on the good times and have a kōrero about, you know, how long you've been here. Didn't even know you were here. And, yeah, it's good. It's a great way to catch up, you know, because I do know a lot of the whānau over there, when they have a bereavement as such, tangihana, they always seem to catch up and go around and support the whānau pani as such. And, yeah, you know, so this is a happy occasion. So beautiful weather, as JT said, knocking on 30 degrees today on the Goldie, and should be a great day for all the Gizzy whānau.
Yeah, it should be up there. And I know, you know, you a lot of the whānau from Gisborne are going to be looking forward to it, aren't they, JT? Especially the ones over there, eh?
Yeah, definitely, because a lot of people, you know, like I said, get wrapped up in their lives. They're so busy with mahi and whatnot, and kids' sports and whatever else they may be caught up with. So it is a good chance to catch up and just get the that home feeling in your soul, I guess, because not everyone goes home as often as they probably maybe would like to. I guess the next best thing is bringing a bit of home to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, let's get into a bit of sport there, Reno, because there was quite a bit of it over the weekend gone. Some very good sport, actually, of course, in particular with the rugby, with the All Blacks. A lot of pressure has obviously gone on to Kieran Reid. He's feeling the pinch a bit. What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know, well, after they lost to Ireland, a lot of pressure on him as well. And yeah, he seemed to be the talking point of quite a bit, actually, from Monday onwards. But hey, a loss is a loss. You take nothing away, as I mentioned on Wednesday, to the Irish. They deserve that win. Now, the All Blacks had to do is focus against the Italians. They've got a pretty strong team, so that kind of tells you they want to end this tour on a high. So it wasn't the greatest weekend, actually. The Black Ferns with their loss to France. The Māori All Blacks had a good win. So, that weekend's done and dusted. It wasn't the flashiest weekend. We always tend to talk about the good weekends where we're always winning. But, it's just a wake-up call, really, honestly. And we see what happens this coming weekend. Hey, well, was it tomorrow morning against Italy?
Italy, yes. That's going to be an interesting one. How do you see things going there, Reno?
Well, dare I say it, the All Black team should be too strong. Obviously, they got Bodie Barrett starting at number 10 there and a couple of other changes. But otherwise, yeah, it looks like a pretty good team. For me, it's great to see Ardie Savea. He seems to be the talking point from Steve Hansen all this tour. He's had to step into the big shoes of Sam Cane. He's been ruled out with a major injury concern. But Ardie himself has stepped up to the mark. And I tell you what, he actually showed he can play against the Irish last weekend. So he's been one of the finds of the tour. And we see a couple of young fellas, Dylan Papali'i. He will come off from the bench, no doubt. But, I think we should be too strong, too dominant for the Italians. No doubt, I would say Italy will score first, most probably.
Okay.
Score a try, give us a bit of a wake-up call, and then we'll come back and blow them away.
Has he changed the team much? What I mean is he going to... is Hansen... a bit too scared to try and change up things, or do you reckon is he going to stay pretty much, with his main team? I suppose. What's going to happen there?
Yeah. He has kept a pretty strong team. Obviously, no Sam Whitelock. He's on holiday leave at the moment as well. But yeah, he's gone with a pretty full team. I think they announced that was that Thursday afternoon. So he's admitted. He loves his job. He's getting tired. It's been a long year too. So yeah, they'll go with they've got the strong team going up against the Italians, and we'll just have to see what happens. Geordie Barrett playing on the wing there as well. So yeah, we'll see how things pan out, mate, and bring on the game tomorrow morning.
The best game, I thought. Well, it was a really, really good game, really entertaining, and quite nail biting, almost as nail biting as the All Black game was the ladies. I mean, great stuff really from France fighting back from last weekend, or the weekend before, I should say. With their loss against the Black Ferns, but a really good nail biting win for the French. What do you reckon?
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, because France could have actually won that first game as well. So I think the Black Ferns know now there is a tough opponent when it gets into the World Cup scenario as well. So the French will be strong, always will be strong at home, and it's good to see the Black Ferns, suffer that narrow loss because they can only get better. They would have fallen into the same trap as the All Blacks, and for the strong supporters of the ladies rugby, would have been expecting what we do with the All Blacks win all the time. So, hey, I'm just pleased to see the girls, as I said on Wednesday, the girls team, the Māori All Blacks and the All Black team are all touring at the same time. And I wish they can continue this in the future, and it's great opportunities for these young men and ladies, to get that debut for the black jersey, the Māori jersey, and enjoy the Northern Hemisphere. You just got to take a look at a lot of the All Black players' Instagrams. Man, them and their partners and their families are just loving Rome at the moment. And why wouldn't you? These opportunities, it's a part of your job, and those are the perks of the job, as you get to see the rest of the world where you get out there on the footy field and run around. That's from the ladies' point of view, the men's point of view, and the Māori All Blacks too. And then you flip it over to the rugby league boys who went up to England, did their tour, and I see people like Jared Whitey Hargreaves and this whānau still over in America. So these are the, as I say, perks of sport, professional sport.
Yeah, true. Talking about league, what's been going on in league there? Of course, big news with Jared Hayne there, AJT. What's going on there, bro?
He's had another dream. He always wanted to play for the Long Bay Jail Glass. I don't know. He signed a 20-year deal. There's some good one-liners going around. But, interesting times. I guess there is two sides to every story. So, despite the speculation from lots and lots of different people, media outlets included, I think we should just give Jared Hayne a chance to explain himself, because it could all blow into nothing, and it could be just
true.
A cock and bull story about someone trying to get some money. But let's hope that no one was hurt and that no one gets hurt in the future, and that sorts itself out, because the game. Oh, look, being a rugby league fan, I'm sure you'll realise this too, Rino. Rugby league is never short of controversy. I mean, look, during the week, Val Holmes said he's going to go and play NFL, so he's left Cronulla. The coaching roundabout continues with Wayne Bennett and Anthony Seibold potentially swapping by the end of next week. So the Brisbane Broncos coach will become the South Sydney coach, and vice versa. But on a positive note, we spoke about this, or I spoke about it last week. Jamaica played USA last Sunday morning, and they qualified for the World Cup, winning 16 points to 10. I had hoped to get Romeo Monti, the Jamaican coach, on the line, but he doesn't have audio capability on his Facebook, only on WhatsApp. So I said maybe we'll try and figure it out as we go along down the track, because he's very willing and very able to join us on the show and have a quick chat about Jamaican Rugby League, which I think is exciting for them and exciting for the game in general. I mean, what Māori doesn't love Jamaica?
Absolutely. There's plenty of them that love Jamaica, isn't there? So yeah, that was certainly great news.
Especially in that part of the world.
That is for sure. How was it that they were able to develop themselves to make it into the qualifying stages in the first place? Because that's really big, something big, I dare say, for the rugby league world, especially for Jamaica, JT?
So what's happened is there's a qualifying zone called the Americas. So the top 4 teams from the Americas qualifying zone were the USA, Canada, Jamaica, and Chile.
Right. So
they had a bit of a tournament there where the top team would qualify, and Jamaica played USA for that spot. So what happens now is the USA will have to go through the repechage and qualify by either beating someone like the Philippines or possibly the Cook Islands. So they'll have to go around again, whereas Jamaica qualified directly. And I am so excited about that. In fact, we're going to try and organise a trip of rugby league fans to get to that World Cup in 2021, and it should be good, because I spoke to Romeo briefly after the win, and he said, look, there's 80,000 or 800,000 Jamaicans living in England, and their goal is to try and get as many of them to their games as possible. So, a huge following and a huge coup, I think, for rugby league to get the Jamaicans into the World Cup.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I agree. That's pretty good stuff there, eh? What do you reckon, Rino?
Oh, totally. Just great. Like I said, mate, I didn't even realise they were playing in rugby league, and there's a bit of history behind it as well. So that's great to see. And for them to beat the USA team, who I know had been playing rugby league for a little while as well. So overall that's an awesome result, and we'll see how they pan up with the World Cup coming up. Their 2021 World Cup. That'll be something worth going to check out.
Yeah, I reckon as well. Now, there's also been a lot of speculation, well, especially, I suppose, over here, JT, about Sean Johnson.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, about Sean Johnson. And one of the guys that have, supported him is Jonathan Thurston, the great Jonathan Thurston, saying that maybe getting away from the Auckland Warriors might be a good move for him. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's maybe gone a bit stale, a bit comfortable in his environment there, and maybe a revitalisation from going to a new club might freshen him up, and a new lot of pressure trying to prove himself to a whole bunch of new support staff, new players, new coaches, and new fans. So, look, Sean has definitely got the talent, and at this stage, I think I've said this before, it is talent unfulfilled, sadly, because on his day there's none better to watch. But unfortunately, those days are too few and far between. I like the guy. I like what he brings to the game. I just think he needs to knuckle down. And Thurston did say that his consistency in his game management needs to